What's going on, guys? Rob at 3 Strong here. Remember this little list here? These are the 4 things that I think are really important to understand conceptually before you go, well, not necessarily before you go into your program, but when you go into your program, you go into your workout, and you define what your fitness goal is. Knowing how to manipulate these things is really going to help you reach the goal that you want, because some people don't want to be big, some people don't want to be small, some people want to be strong, some people, blah, 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 all that stuff. I mentioned that in my previous video. But understanding these concepts is very important, because if you don't know how to use these, then the exercises are really just going to be fluff, okay? So once we get the concept, it's going to be much easier, then the exercises make a lot more sense. Number 1, genetics. The reason why I crossed that off the list is because honestly, I should just change that to acceptance. First, accept who you are. If you've always been thin, you're going to have to work your butt off to get a little bit bigger, but you're never going to look like that power lifter. Or that power lifter, no matter how hard they try, is probably not going to look like the marathon runner, and you just have to accept that. You have to suck it up and move on and do the best you can with what you've got. Okay? The next 2, intensity and tension. The reason why I mentioned these 2 is because they are closely linked. I'm sure you've had an example of somebody in your life where they were surprisingly strong. You're like, I look at that person and I can't believe how much weight that they can lift. It's just crazy. And then you look at somebody else and you're like, well, yeah, they're big and they're strong. That makes sense. We always equate size with strength, and for the most part that is true. But that's not always true. There are smaller people who are incredibly strong and don't have a lot of muscle bulk. There are people who are also very big and muscular and have big, bulging, defined muscles, but aren't the strongest. And that comes down to the training and what their goals are. The reason why I want to focus on this muscle tension is because if you want hypertrophy, if you want to get big and develop large muscles, those muscles need to be under tension. And it's something called time under tension. And if you just type it into Google, there will be plenty of bodybuilding things that bring up this idea of time under tension. And what time under tension is say I'm doing a bicep curl, and I'm doing a set of, say, as many reps as I can do. And I keep on going, and then all of a sudden it gets a little bit slower, but I keep on grinding through it to the end. My muscle is under tension this whole time. And essentially I'm, working this thing to a grinding halt, screeching halt. And if I was to stop, then I've kind of reduced the amount of tension on that muscle. However, I can do the same number of reps in a set without putting the weight down. I do a couple of reps at a time and I rest. Do a couple reps at a time and I rest. The tension on the muscle will be different. However, if I kind of break my reps up and rest a little bit, I've reduced the tension, but what I can do is increase the intensity and do more weight. What does that do for me? Increase my strength. But if I want to get a little bit more muscle bulk, I can actually work that set to that point where I can't do anymore and I don't stop. Because if I stop, I release the tension on the muscles, and that is what is going to help my muscles grow. So if we want to develop strength, well, what we can do is focus on lifting more weight, quality of movement with a little bit more speed. If we want to have a little bit more bulk, then we can keep that muscle tension high and pretty much work it, keep the tension on there, get that burn going until we can't do any more. Okay? Same number of reps, different intensity, different amount of tension, completely different result without even changing volume. Okay, guys? Think about that. That's mind-blowing stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.